Now, if the referendum were restricted to young voters, the result would have been much different. Those between the ages of 18 and 24 voted overwhelmingly to remain. On the eve of the referendum, we spoke with students from each camp. They rejoin us today. Amy Longland is with Nottingham Students for Europe and, as the name suggests, wanted to remain. Jade Smith is with the Vote Leave campaign, and she is in Redcar. So hello to you both. Jade, let me first ask you, how are you feeling today, and are you surprised by the result?
Honestly, I'm so tired. I've been up for God knows how many hours, but I can't sleep because I'm so excited about how we've got an independent Britain. I was so surprised at the result. Not in the northeast. I knew that we'd win where I live, in our region, but I'm very surprised that the entire country followed this, and we have a democratic country now, and we are free to create our own laws, control our own borders, and spend our own money on our priorities.
And Amy, according to polls, 75%, let's show that board, of 18 to 24-year-olds voted to remain in the European Union. 75%, and you were one of them. What does that number symbolize to you, Amy?
Well, I think it just shows that the future of this country and those that are progressive, outward-looking, dynamic, educated, the young people of this country overwhelmingly wanted to remain in the EU. I mean, young people love being part of Europe. We enjoy the fact that we can travel, freedom of movement. We love our European neighbours, and I think myself and many, many other young people in the UK are absolutely devastated that the prejudices of the older generations and some younger generations and some young people have managed to kind of, ruin this for all the young people in the UK. I think it's a travesty. It's such a shame.
Now, you say that you're absolutely devastated. Can you tell me a little bit more about your concerns as a young person moving into the future?
Well, I mean, most of my campaigning with Nottingham Students for Europe was focused on, mobilising young people, making sure young people register to vote in order to protect the job prospects and opportunities of future generations. I mean, it meant so much to me that I could ensure that, the opportunities that I had going through uni were protected for younger generations. And, we have already seen the hit that our economy has taken in 12 hours since the referendum has been announced. I mean, the pound has plummeted to a 30-year low. The Japanese stock market has crashed. I mean, we want, as young people, most young people want unity. We want to be in solidarity as a country, as a nation, and with our European neighbours. We already have the Scotland saying they'll have another referendum, Northern Ireland looking to reconnect with Southern Ireland. And I mean, the FTSE has gone 10% down. Everyone's savings are like 30% less valuable. The UK has lost its AAA credit rating. I mean, this is terrible for the economy, and you can't deny that. It's right there in front of you.
So, Jade, what do you say? Jade, what do you say to some of those arguments? And let me ask you specifically about the economy. Okay, in the short term, this may just be people panicking and investors trying to make some money or whatever. But clearly, the world is rattled. And one other thing that I want to bring up with you, Jade, is there are people in Scotland. We've got the First Minister of Scotland saying another referendum on independence is very likely. There seems to be some unsettled nerves in Northern Ireland. So by voting to leave the EU, you could lose parts of your country as well.
Well, I'll first look at the economy. As I saw, it was Aaron Banks, a big donor of UKIP, tweeted a couple of hours ago that the pound has gone back up to being equal with the American dollar to $1.39 to a pound, which, okay, isn't at the level it was before, but it is still improving. Obviously, when something like this happens, it's a drastic change to our constitution, so markets are going to be quite wary. They're not going to know what's happened, because obviously we haven't actually revoked Article 50 yet, so technically we are still a member of the EU. We haven't even started leaving. So the markets are reacting to something that hasn't actually quite happened yet. With regards to Scotland, well, they're not going to get another referendum. Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond have been banging on about this referendum since they lost in 2014, and they're certainly not going to get another one with this Conservative government, or any government for that matter. With Northern Ireland, it's the nationalist parties that are asking for this look at the referendum on the border of Northern Ireland and Ireland. Well, that is the issue of, there is always the nationalist parties. That is what they want. They want to nationalise Ireland as a whole country together. The unionist parties, like the DUP, on the other hand, who campaigned for leave, are not asking for this border reform. So, if anything, it is just political parties.
Amy, let me ask you, I can tell by the look on your face that you are devastated, that you're sad today. Tell me more about that and what you plan on doing in your future, because it is your generation, that both of you that are going to have to live with this for much longer than actually a lot of the people that voted to leave. So what do you think? Tell me more about how you're feeling and what you're going to do.
Well, how I'm feeling is incredibly sad, as you know, and I'm so excited with Jade's arguments. It's funny she brings up Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks, a big Don't Leave campaign, wants to privatise the NHS. He's on record saying he wants to privatise the NHS. That makes me petrified for the future of our NHS. She's saying that the pound is okay because it's gone back up again, but still it's that uncertainty, the uncertainty of this Brexit, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen to the pound. It's destroying our economy. 3 million jobs depend on the EU. And when I graduate, and when people behind me, students that are going through uni now, when they graduate, they need to have those jobs available. I mean, my friend's older brother has just been told that his job in the City of London in the financial sector might not exist in 5 years' time because we've left the EU. And that's the case for so many young people, so many young graduates. And it's just not fair that this has happened to them and they didn't want it to happen. And she cannot say that Scotland can't have a referendum to become independent. Cannot say that. And with Northern Ireland, she's dismissing the fact that there's now this disunity in our country. People are falling apart and it's not fair, because that's not what we want and that's not what's going to make us strong. And for me, I'm incredibly sad that our country's become this way, because it's all about what I wanted for Britain, and I wanted an open, tolerant, diverse, outward-looking, progressive Britain that I was proud of. I'm incredibly patriotic. I believe in my country.
Are you still proud today, Amy?
Now, no. I mean, it's so embarrassing that we have now become this kind of inward-looking. We come across to the world as xenophobic. We're going to become this little England on its own, and that's definitely, emphatically, not what young people wanted. And at the end of the day, we are the future, and we wanted to remain in Europe, progressive.